And that is a company in Canada that has glamorized medical assisted suicide.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, this is an opinion column from Candace Owens. In recent years, I've been banging the drum to warn you guys to pay attention to assisted suicide. Fans write mean comments to me saying euthanize is not that bad. It's just for people who are really sick. Of course, that's become more evident that it's not just for people who are really sick. It's they're saying people, it's the right thing to do. Kill yourself. Just kill yourself because you're becoming a burden on society. At the same time, government leaders and leftists will make people mentally ill. How? By things such as confusing kids about their gender, telling them to take dangerous drugs, mutilate their bodies. And because of that, you have a bunch of depressed adults who will go to the government to kill themselves. That's what's going to happen. Of course, that's what's happening in Canada. Canadian fashion retailer Simons is full on sanitizing and promoting assisted suicide to sell clothes. The Quebec-based retailer made a deliberate move towards inspiration. Last month is a whole new video they're calling All Is Beauty. In a recently released video, the clip is narrated by a woman named Jennifer Hatch, who on October 23rd killed herself. She was suffering from an illness and she showed medical assistance in dying, which is known as MAID in Canada. Canada's government funds this. So watch to see for yourself, and it's truly, truly horrific.
Dying in a hospital is not what's natural. That's not what's soft. In these kind of moments, you need softness.
Beautiful accent.
It can take dying to figure out what living is actually like. I spent my life filling my heart with beauty, with nature, with connection. So I choose to fill my final moments with the same. Last breaths are sacred. When I imagine my final days, I see music. I see the ocean. I see cheesecake. Even now, as I seek help to end my life, with all the pain, and in these final moments, there is still so much beauty. You just have to be brave enough to see it. And seeing the rhythms of what's gonna keep going after I'm gone bring a lot of comfort.
Yeah, by the way, that lovely lady there that was in that video, she's dead.
Yep. She killed herself.
No, murdered by our government.
Well, murdered by our government, but murder that she endorsed.
Let me put it this way, Stephen. If I request that the government kill me, and a government comes, like, I don't know, they send a police officer and they come and they shoot me in the head, how is that any different than what they're doing? I mean, other than the like, you know, like, oh, it's I mean, assuming that one shot in the head is enough to put me out completely. And like, how's that any different?
So, okay,
Really?
your scenario is that you called the police and asked them to shoot you.
No, I'm imagining a scenario where, or like a hypothetical, where the government basically says, like, by the way, if you're done with living, call us. We will send a officer, a MAID officer, and they'll come to your house and they'll put you out of your misery.
Mm-hmm.
All they're doing here is they're making this sound legitimate by basically sending a doctor to do it instead. Actually, not even a doctor, a nurse to do it for you, to poison you.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds more humane in that sense, but what it is, it's no different than how we treat dogs.
Yep.
Really, it's no different than how you treat dogs. You have, like, imagine if I have a dog. And imagine I'm a terrible dog owner, and I really don't care about. I don't really care about dogs' life. It's like, oh, I'm going to move to BC. You know what? I can't move with a dog, and there's nowhere I can rent with a dog over there. I'm just going to have to, put him down. I can literally go down to the the vet, and I can have that vet put that dog down. Apparently, you can do the same thing with people nowadays, except the people just have to request. Actually, people just have to request it, and the government.
It's more than just people requesting it now. The government is actually recommending it to many people. The other article, which we were talking about from the National Post, they actually said that it's now been uncovered that there were multiple veterans who called about, like, seeking therapy and respite and counseling.
Yep.
About their PTSD, and the government's like, and the doctor and the government and the person who is referencing them to the sources they might need be like, well, like, we could get you some therapy, we could get you some counseling, we could get you some drugs, but have you considered medical assistance in dying? And it's like, what? Like, no, I have not considered killing myself. That's why I'm reaching out to you for help.
No, don't worry, sir. We're not saying that you should kill yourself. We'll kill you.
We'll kill you. We'll take care of it to make it easy, and you can die in a way in which is painless, so to speak, and then you can die in your own way. You can have control over death. You can do your own thing.
Yeah,
like that's part of why this is wrong. It's saying, well, I have control over death, and I'm squandering the gift of life, of course, that comes ultimately from God. So I'm spitting in the face of God by saying, well, I now have control over death. I choose when I can die. And there's nothing you can say about that. And I'm taking away this because my life's too difficult. Of course, we all know that suicide is the ultimate cop-out.
You can always like feel for the people.
Oh yeah,
that commit suicide. They feel hopeless. They feel like there's no way out. But the problem with assisted, with basically assisted homicide, which is really what it is. The problem with this is that you are taking advantage of a person who is extremely vulnerable.
Yeah,
this is that. Like, I'm actually concerned right now. Because there's like suicide hotlines, right? Like in Canada, like Bell always talks about like suicide hotline or whatever. I'm actually genuinely concerned if the suicide hotline is now actually encouraging people to get
choose
MAID.
MAID. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised too much.
Imagine calling them, being like, "I'm having some really bad, dark thoughts." I'm like, "Oh, well, good news. You actually qualify for this the thing.
New
so
opening
we'll send
and
a
the new
doctor
exemptions of
to
MAID.
your house with a we'll send a doctor to your house with a loaded shotgun, and they'll blow your brains out. It's totally. Oh, I'm sorry. They'll come with like a special medicine that a lethal injection that will literally kill you. But that's somehow better than like coming with a shotgun. It's just not as gory.
Yeah,
like, to be honest,
less
like
to clean up.
Yeah, less to clean up. That's basically like the way to put it. They're disposing you like an old mattress.
Yep,
that's basically what they're doing. It's so like,
oh, it's so messed up. And then of course, like, going back to this ad, this ad is basically saying, oh, like, confrontation with death makes you realize what is truly beautiful about life. And I'm like, okay, there is something to say that if your life is close to being taken away, like, of course, we've all heard the phrase, your life flashing before your eyes.
Yeah, imminent death.
Imminent death. Like, everything that comes to the forefront is everything that's important to you and, like, the best and worst moments of your life.
Yep.
Because you're confronted with it. But the problem is, of course, is that this person it's like, well, now that I know that my life is going to end, I can live with reckless abandon. I can truly enjoy things in life because my suffering is coming to an end. And of course, they don't list what her suffering is. And considering the way that she was moving and the way that she was operating, it's like, well, you don't seem to be struggling that much.
Yeah.
Like, you can move freely.
Yep.
You might be in a lot of pain. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't seem to, like, you're certainly not having any debilitating illness.
Yep.
It's like, why are you trying to kill yourself?
Well, let's face it. What's really going on here is, like, the left always does this. Like, Trudeau is such a far gone leftist. It's almost impossible to see him in any positive light. He is basically, like, signed his soul to the devil. He's a lost cause. I'm sorry. Yep. He is a horrible human being. But Trudeau aggressively pushed for MAID, not because it's compassionate. The left always tries to paint these as compassionate, but because it's cruel. Why? Because they refuse to spend money to fix the healthcare system.
Yes.
And people cannot get the help they need
because
when they're
it's
desperate.
Cheap.
And the cheapest and easiest way
is to
solve it is to kill them. Yep. This is murder.
Well, and of course,
well,
I've been saying this as being, because they're like, oh, like, people kill themselves in the States. And it's like, well, people kill themselves in the States, but the medical system does not encourage it.
Yeah.
Whereas the medical system here in Canada, like, over the past couple years, has been pushing it more and more. And of course, now the legal system through the Canadian Parliament has authorized them to use it in almost any situation. Like, there was a situation we were talking about a couple months ago, or not even a couple months, like maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago, about a guy who is now dead.
Yep.
But they killed him because he was afraid of being homeless.
Yep.
And it's like, I don't want to die, but I'm afraid of being homeless. And it's like, okay, well, instead of trying to solve your problems and trying to, like, sort out and make your life better, we're just going to kill you.
Yep.
Because that's how the government views the people that they eventually, that get welfare and get social assistance. It's like, well, what's the best way we can help you? It's like, well, we could give you money, but we're going to tell you we're going to tell you over and over how useless, how dependent you are on the system, and how everybody but the government hates you, and you'd be better off and less of a drain on the system if you were dead.
And by the way, anybody who doesn't realize that this is a slippery slope towards, like, exactly the kind of eugenics they did in the Nazi regime is fooling yourself crazily. Yep. Because this will lead directly, if the government is authorized to kill anybody who requests, it's not a far leap for them to start deciding who gets to live and who gets to die. It is such a dangerous precedent.
Well, yeah, here, like, I look at, okay.
Hold on. I just got to throw this in here really quick. So these are the stats of medical assistance in dying in Canada since 2017. 2017, 2,838. 2018, 4,478. 2019, 5,425. 2020, 7,383. And 2021, it was more than 10,000.
Yep.
They are making this. This is like,
they're making it into one of the leading causes of death.
This is now becoming, like, the most, like, egregious cause of death in Canada is our government killing people.
Yep.
Like, if I really wanted to take a big picture look down and be like, what are the crimes of this country? One of the biggest crimes, obviously, aside from abortion, is going to be the intentional, purposeful, and callous homicide of its own citizens who are at their most vulnerable point. Instead of offering help, they basically said, here's a gun, we'll just leave this right next to your
gonna leave you with a bullet, and, like, the place has a drain, so don't worry about
Yeah.
the mess.
Yeah. Like that is not compassionate. I don't
Nope,
see how
it's not.
anybody can see that. So
Yeah.
shame on this company for doing that. So that's
Shame on
the-
this company. Shame on our government.
Yeah.
Just another reason why the flag is upside down.
Oh, yeah.